that you desire to become becoming to a great extent. Which one determines becoming to a great extent? Yeah? We shall see. So, I want us to do an activity that we did with the Form 1s last time I was here. And I believe this will be of great help to us also. Just open a fresh page. Just open a fresh page. Just open a fresh page. Just close your eyes. Close your eyes. I want you to draw an ocean. Draw an ocean. Draw an ocean. Draw an ocean. Just draw an ocean. In that ocean, I want you to draw a ship. A ship inside the ocean. A ship. In that ship, I want you to draw a captain. A captain inside. Captain. I want you to go back to the ocean and draw a dry piece of land. It's called an island. Draw an island. On that island, I want you to draw a tree. A tree. On that tree, I want you to draw a bird perched on it. A bird perched on it. As we continue closing our eyes, we have said we draw an ocean. In that ocean, draw a ship, a sea vessel. Then draw a captain inside the ship. Then go back to the ocean and draw a dry piece of land. In that dry piece of land, draw a tree. On that tree, draw a bird. Open your eyes and see what you have drawn. Look at what you have drawn. Now, when given a chance to make that drawing, when your eyes are open, I believe you can do a better drawing. But that was not possible because your eyes were closed. Your eyes were closed. Now, when I talk about believe, behave, and become, in part of belief, there is something called foresight. Tell your friend foresight. Tell your friend foresight. Foresight. Foresight is the ability to see the future. The ability to see the future, which underscores the essence of vision. Vision. You can be a Form 1, you can be a Form 2, you can be a Form 3, you can be a Form 4, and you know what you want, and you know what you are going for. You could be sitting here and you are seeing yourself as an engineer. You could be sitting here and you are seeing yourself as a diplomat somewhere. And because you can see it, you are able to work out on how to become it. But you see, you have to believe. And part of belief, I'm saying, is the foresight, the ability to see. Now, why is that drawing, funny as it is. Look at what your friend has drawn. Just look at it again. It may not be what I said to be drawn. And I believe even if you're not an artist, and I ask you to draw, when your two egg-like oval eyes are open, I believe you can do a better drawing. You can do a better drawing. Why is that drawing the way it is? It's because you are not seeing what you are doing. And sometimes, Bwana Principal, because most of you as teachers, you have understanding of life, you have experience, you know what these people ought to become. You can see it. Sometimes, some of us as students, we face a lot of challenges and we even get confused in life because we cannot see what we want to become. We cannot see it. The element of vision is lacking. That is why the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 18 says, where there is no vision, people do what? Perish. I like the way NIV version puts it. Where there is no vision, people cast off restraints. Yani pasipo na maono, watu huvuka mipaka. People get confused. People get lost because they don't know what they want. That's why negative peer pressure will take over you. That is why drugs will take over your life. That's why confusion will just take over your life because you cannot see what you want to become. Tell your friend, believe. Friend, believe. Can we talk like poor have taken tea? Tell your friend, believe. Behave. Become. Believe. Behave. Become. Part of believing is foresight. And I want us to develop that. We are able to see what we want to become. That's an element that is required. You see, this school, before it existed, it was once a vision. It was once in someone's imagination. Someone saw it before it existed. And architects who are able to come up with such immortal structures, buildings, they must have seen it. So, this even underscores the essence of the mind. The mind. What can you see in your mind? You see, before you get an A as a grade, you must first of all see it in your mind. They say before warriors win wars, they first of all win in their minds. They develop imaginations. And that's why I think Albert Einstein said that knowledge will take you from point A to B, but imagination will take you everywhere. It's through that imagination in the mind that you can actually achieve great things. The mind. And I want you to write this down. Just write this down. My mental picture determines my actual future. My mental picture determines my actual future. My mentality is my reality. Would you help me telling your friend that? My mental picture, can we say it together? My mental picture determines my actual future. My mentality is my reality. My mentality, mtu anasema eternity. My mentality, my mentality is my reality. What can you see in your mind? What can you, and that's why I think the mind plays a very, very important role. That's why you see even great writers have written books about the mind. One of the greatest books I love reading is As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. A book written long time ago. And just talks about how you can use your mind to achieve great things. Look at writers like Napoleon Hill writing about Think and Grow Rich. It's just about the mind, what the mind can achieve. Look at Ben Carson. I know some of you have read his books. Look at him writing about Think Big. Look at writers who are writing about the magic of thinking big. So, the mind plays a very important role. But I want you to write this down again. Say this. Thoughts are seeds. Thoughts are seeds. Thoughts are seeds. The mind is a garden. Thoughts are seeds, and the mind is a garden. Where do you plant seeds? In the garden. So where do you plant thoughts? In the mind. As we talk about believe, behave, become, I want you to see that part of you becoming is you entertaining positive thoughts, planting positive thoughts in your mind that can actually help you to become the person you want to become. There is no, you can think about becoming a top student, becoming an academic giant, but you are entertaining negative thoughts, thoughts of defeat. You have given up in chemistry, you have given up in mathematics, and you are saying, I want to become an academic giant. That is impossible. Are we together? Are we together? Maybe you have not been performing well, and doubts are attacking your mind. Defeat. That is why, when you read the book of Ephesians chapter 6, verse 18, Paul is writing and is concluding and is saying, finally, brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the full armor of God that you may be able to withstand in an evil day. And then he mentions what putting on the full armor is. He's talking to Christians and he's telling them part of the armor is to put on the helmet of salvation. You have to put on the breastplate of righteousness. You have to carry the shield of faith. And you have to put on the belt of truth. I like it the way he's beginning with the helmet of salvation. He knows that even as a Christian, you win in the mind. And what the devil can do is to attack you with negative thoughts, with doubts. So, most of us here, we have what it takes to achieve. We have some of the finest teachers. I've interacted with some of them. Some of the best. You are in a good place. There are facilities. But you see, if you don't strongly believe, you can't become the person you're supposed to become. And part of believing is to take care of your mind. Are we together? Are we together? Now, I know we are young. And when we are young, sometimes things that may appeal to us may not be suitable for us. When we say the mind is a garden, thoughts are seeds, or whatever gets into the mind is what it gives, as you have studied in computer, something called GIGO principle. What is GIGO principle? Do we have computer gurus here? What is GIGO principle? Garbage in, garbage out, which means input equals output. Positivity in, positivity out. Negativity in, negativity out. Foolishness in, foolishness out. Stupidity in, stupidity out. Have you ever met a stupid person? Who has ever met a stupid person here? I am not saying stupid people are here. I'm just asking, who has ever met a stupid person? Have you ever met any? Do you think when you meet a stupid person, is there someone who forces stupidity into someone's mind? Not really. Someone decides to be stupid because he listens to stupid talk, he listens to stupid conversations, he entertains stupid things, he watches stupid stuff. Like the movies he watches or the songs he listens to are not good. And you see, we are developing great minds. We are saying these are the top engineers. These are the top lawyers. They have to check on what they fit their minds with. Tell your friend, believe. Believe. Out together. Believe. Believe. Just lift up your hand wherever you are. Just say, believe. Just ensure your friend is sitting upright. Tell your friend, believe. Sit upright. Everyone to sit upright. Tell your friend, believe. Behave. Become. Part of believing is foresight. Number 2, part of believing is faith. 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 Now, faith must be faith in God, faith in yourself, and faith in people that matter in your life. Now, it is futile to only have faith in God, believing in the supreme being, believing in deity. You should also believe in yourself. And that underscores the essence of a life skill called self-esteem. Are we together? Are we together? Self-esteem. You have to believe in people who matter in your life. There are people that God brings into your life to help you become. In a school setup like this, we have the principal, we have the deputy, we have the teachers who have been brought into your life that are supposed to help you become the person you're supposed to become. The problem is that some of us believe in people who don't matter in life. We believe in we believe in fallacies. We believe in myths and misconceptions. We don't want to believe in the truth. And therefore, that even affects our becoming. But let me say this about faith in God. You should not think that becoming will only be achieved because you are bright or because your parent is well-to-do. You come from a well-off family. Or because you have what it takes. God wants you to also believe in Him and get to know as young as you are that God plays a very important role in your becoming. Are we together? How many believe in God here? How many believe in God? Without God, we can absolutely do nothing, isn't it? Yes. In the book of Acts 17, verse 28, Apostle Paul is reasoning with Athenian thinkers, Athenian philosophers, and he's telling them, in Him we live, in Him we move, in Him we have our being. As some of your poets have said, we are all His offspring. He's reasoning with the wisest in the land, and he's telling them that without God, there's nothing we can achieve. And I want to also bring it to your attention. Never put your trust only in yourself and in your dad or in your mom. Bring God into the picture and believe in God. That's why you see when we pray, when we do the things of God in this place, do not think we are wasting time. It's part of your becoming. Are we together? Success where God is not included is not true success. It's like a house built on sand. It can't withstand the storms. Are we together? Are we together? Tell your friend, believe, behave, become. Now, even in our midst, we have people who may not have a true picture, or they may not be seeing how things will work out because you are going through challenges. Where you come from, challenges are therein. And you're wondering, will I even finish school? Will I even be able to get what I'm supposed to get? I want to tell you that bringing God into the picture will be of great help. Will be of great help. God knows you. Tell your friend, God knows you. Are we together? God knows what your mom is going through. God knows what your dad is going through. God knows where she got married. That is in Siaya. She got married at a place in Busia. When she got married, she took me there. But I was not accepted as a son of that land, of that place. She took me to my grandmother. So I was raised by a grandmother in the village. And when I was 7 years old, my mother passed on. Unfortunately, my mother passed on. She introduced me to my father. So I grew up without a father in my life. When my mother was alive, I used to ask her to show me my father, but she only quoted for me Psalm 68 verse 5 that says, God is a father to the fatherless and the judge to the widows. And when we were growing up, we met challenges, and I promised myself, I said, if I get a chance to go to school, I'll take school seriously. I said, I must give my grandmother a different lifestyle. When I was a class 8 boy, my dream school was Tare Boys Center. When our head teacher came to class, a man with a well-fed frame, and very dark. It was dark like 1,000 midnight. And he said, there is a school called Starehe Boys Center. You are academically gifted but financially embarrassed. You can go at Starehe. Forms I wanted to Starehe. When I sat for KCPE, I again never got the marks that were required. Instead of getting the 400 marks that were required, I got only 339 marks. So I missed the chance to Starehe. Fortunately, I was called to go to a good school in our county. It's called St. Mary's School, Yala. But when I took the invitation letter to my grandfather, who is still alive, up to date, but now very old, I can say is old like history or old as hills, whatever it is. The old man looked at me and told me, my grandson, this is going to be the end of your education. In fact, I have hatched a plan. I have a brother who bought land at a place called Muhoroni in Kisumu. I want you to go and become his herds boy. I looked at him and I told him I don't want to become a herds boy. I want to go to school, and if God permits, I become a professor one day. Of course, I knew the grandfather could not take me to school. He did not have the wherewithal. So when I nearly missed going to high school, it is the church that took me to school. But the church did not take me to St. Mary's School, Yala, or Starehe Boys Center. They took me to a decimal day school in our village. A school with a funny name. Its name sounded like a tongue twister. It was called Nyamninia Secondary School. But the day I got to that school, I told myself, places don't make people, but people make places. Would you help me telling your friend that? Places don't make people. Places don't make people. I want you to tell your friend, places don't make people. Somebody is not telling their friend, places don't make people. There are people who are not saying. I'm waiting for them to say, places don't make people. Like this guy is not saying, places don't make people, but people make places. Yeah. That's why I was telling you, for us, I didn't have a chance to be in a good school like your school. But I understood that concept, that places don't make people, but people make places. It was in that school that we toiled and moiled and passed exam. And I went to study in Kikuyu to become a teacher and to become a professional. Now, when you look at becoming brings people into the picture. It brings people into the picture. It brings you into the picture. It brings people who matter into the picture. It brings God into the picture. There's a book I was reading that was saying, there's nothing like I am self-made. There's nothing like that. It's about people coming into your life. And that's why you need to value people who come into your life. Like you could be in a school like this and you feel you come from a well-off family or everything is okay. But you see, you need the help of the people that are in your life, like in this school, to help you become the person you're supposed to become. And you see, for me, my push was that I work hard and bring a difference in our family. For you, maybe it is that you have to also work hard and even support what your dad has done. Because if you come from a humble background, then you need to work hard so that you give your family members a different lifestyle. And when you come from a well-off family, you also have a challenge. You need to do more than what your dad has done. If your dad is driving a particular car of a low estate, you're supposed to work hard and even drive a better car. That is why Joe Mwangi, in his book, 10 years down the line, is saying, 10 years down the line, you'll either be an architect of your future or a prisoner of your past. Are we together? And being that you are born at Aga Khan Hospital does not mean that you'll be a doctor there. For you might not even end up being a patient there. Being that your father is a CEO or a lecturer, it does not mean you're a small CEO or a small lecturer. So you look at it that on both sides of the coin, we have to work. We have to do what you're supposed to do to become. Are we together? Are we together? Yes. Can we just stand? Can we just stand? All of us, can we just stand? Can we just stand? Can we just stand? Can we just stand? When I say clap, you clap once. When I say your name, you shout your name. Are we together? Are we together? Yes. Clap. Your name. 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 Now, when I say clap, you shout your name. When I say your name, you clap. 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 Your name. Your name. Your name. Clap. Your name. Clap. There are people who are not doing it. There are people who are not doing it. Clap. We can get seated. Thank you. Now, tell your friend, believe, behave, become. Now, on behave, I want you to write this down. I want you to say, learning is acquiring knowledge and skills. Learning is acquiring knowledge and skills. We come to school to learn, and learning is acquiring knowledge and skills. Number 2, learning is change of behavior and attitude. Change of behavior and attitude. That is how psychologists are defining learning. We only say learning has taken place when our behavior and attitude has changed. Tunaelewana? Yes. So when you come to Acacia Crest Senior School, you will only say you have learned when your behavior has changed. There are some bad behavior we have to drop. Are we together? And then you say learning has taken place. What is attitude? Attitude is equal to mindset plus beliefs. Just write attitude and put an equal sign and say mindset plus beliefs. Mindset plus beliefs. And you see, attitude plays a pivotal role or an integral role in learning. In most cases, when you are not performing well in mathematics or physics, you are told, change your attitude. Check on your attitude. Which means attitude means a lot. And that is why Zig Ziglar said this. I want to write this about Zig Ziglar. Zig Ziglar was an American thinker and writer and speaker. He said, it is your attitude, not your aptitude, that determines your altitude. It is your attitude, not your aptitude, that determines your altitude. Attitude, we have said, is mindset plus beliefs. Mindset plus beliefs. What is aptitude? Aptitude is what we call natural talent, or what we call natural ability to do things. And altitude, as you know, is the height above the sea level. In this context, we're talking about the far you can go academically. How can you rise academically? How can you do it? Attitude plays an integral role, my friends. But we are saying behavior plays an important role. Learning is about behavior. Behavior. Now, what are we exploring in behave here? Number 1 is discipline. Discipline. Disciplined behavior. Disciplined behavior. And I know discipline is a song that has been sung all through. You've been told discipline is following rules and regulations. Life is governed by rules, regulations, and laws. You defy the rules, you defy the laws, even if you think you have what it takes, you defy the laws, you will be in for it. Life will deal with you. Are we together? Are we together? Is this school having rules? Do you have regulations? Are you following them? They are saying discipline is doing the right thing in the right way, in the right place, with the right people. So even working with the right people is discipline. So wale watu wa masherehe, wakienda home ni masherehe. Lack of discipline. Wale watu wanataka kuenda, it's party after party. Wale watu wenye wanataka kuenda kutafuta, they are looking for orgies. Orgies. You know? Working with people that don't matter. You know, that's lack of discipline. This lack of discipline could also be used of vulgar language or obscene language. Lugha chafu. Vulgar language. Like, because you watch American movies, you're using things like the FU word, you know, and many other things. Dirty language. That's in discipline. Indiscipline is wearing the wrong school uniform. Wearing the wrong school uniform. Indiscipline is skiving lessons or absconding duty. You know? Indiscipline is shaving in a wrong manner. There is a way people are supposed to shave. You don't want to shave that way. Indiscipline is doing an exam and leaving blank spaces. Because you're supposed to have what you call academic discipline. Lack of academic discipline is when you are doing an exam, you've been taught, and you cannot answer the questions. Not doing assignments is indiscipline. Now look at what Solomon is saying in Proverbs chapter 12 verse 1. Whoever loves discipline, loves knowledge. And whoever hates correction is stupid. Who is speaking? Solomon, the son of David. Solomon, according to 1 Kings chapter 4 verse 32, he wrote 3,000 proverbs and 1,005 songs. He was a wise man. If you doubt the wisdom of Solomon, then I can ask you a question. How many proverbs have you composed? Have you composed even half a proverb? He composed 3,000 proverbs and 1,005 songs. Leave alone these guys who are just singing silly songs in the bathroom, you know. The guy could compose 1,005 songs. Are we together? Are we together? Wewe unaimba tu fresh barida ya Steve Simple Boy. This guy composed 1,005 songs. He was a wise man. In Proverbs chapter 12 verse 1, he's telling us, whoever loves knowledge loves discipline. Discipline and knowledge are inseparable. They are close cognates. This mathematics expert knows what cognates are. They are together. In English, we can say discipline and knowledge are consanguineous. Consanguineous means related in terms of blood. You know, they work together. They are bedfellows. Show me a knowledgeable person and I'll show you a disciplined person. Discipline. Let me give you 5 forms of discipline so that you understand discipline better. Discipline can be explored in terms of self-discipline, external discipline, self-drive, mind-level discipline, and academic discipline. How many forms of discipline? Number one, self-discipline. Number 2, external discipline. Number 3, self-drive. Number 4, mind-level discipline. Number 5, academic discipline. Now, self-discipline is what we call self-conquest. The ability to conquer yourself. Do you know why some guys are sleeping during such a session? They can't conquer themselves. They lack discipline. Their body, they don't have what you call self-mastery, which is which is governed by mind mastery. Do you know why somebody sleeps in class at 8? A big boy with beard sleeping in class at 8. A boy with biceps, triceps, and even joceps sleeping in class at 8. Why is he sleeping in class at 8? He lacks self-discipline. If you slept yesterday night, why did you sleep during the day? Why are you competing with the dead in sleeping? Now, self-discipline. Conquer yourself. Conquer laziness. Conquer laziness. Getting tired before you do the job. That's why lazy people are crazy people. Conquer a lot of sleep. Conquer indiscipline itself. Conquer pride. There's something called pride. Conquer that. Conquer what we call hubris. Just write this. Hubris. 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 Excess self-confidence and pride. Excess self-confidence and pride. It is what sank the Titanic ship in 1912. How many have watched that movie? It was a majestic, massive ship. Some of the passengers came and asked the captain, "Can this ship sink? Can this ship sink? Can this ship sink?" And they said, "Even God cannot sink it." And you know, God hates pride and arrogance. That is why the book of James chapter 4 verse 6 says, "And God resists the proud and gives grace to the humble." James chapter 4 verse 10 says, "Humble yourself before the Lord, and he shall lift you up." Pride. Inflated ego. You know, men have something called ego. Ego. You find somebody in Form 1 or Form 2 has a lot of ego, excess ego. He's told, "Kijana, can you kneel down?" And something tells him, "No, how do I kneel down? I am a man. How do I kneel down?" And then it's Madam who is telling you, "Kneel down." He's a teacher. He's telling you this. You can't do it. The ego is too much in you. And it will work against you. You even bring it to your mom, to your dad, to your family. That can be so bad. So, conquer yourself. Conquer yourself. Self-master, self-conquest. Number 2, external discipline. The respect we give to other people, which is seen in terms of humility. Thank you. Meekness is not weakness. Tell your friend, meekness is not weakness. When you insult me and I don't insult you back, it doesn't mean I'm weak. It just means I have high levels of emotional intelligence. I can control myself. I can regulate myself. And obedience is submitting to authority. Authority. Submitting to authority. Number 3 is self-drive. Doing things not being pushed. No one should push you. Mind level discipline has to do with controlling what gets into your mind. I talked about that. And lastly, academic discipline has to do with the things you do that make you achieve academic excellence. And I think that's a point I want to elaborate. Then I close there. Academic discipline. Tell your friend, believe. 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 This guy is not saying. Tell your friend, believe. Be your brother's keeper. Be your brother's keeper. Tell your friend, believe. Believe. Behave. Become. Now, part of becoming is behave. And I'm saying that we have a type of discipline called academic discipline. The things you do that make you achieve academic excellence. These things basically are study methods or study skills or study habits. I want to mention a few. Then I stop there. How do you study? How do you study? I like the collocation. Study skills, study methods. But I like the one on study habits as we close this session. One, you need a positive version of the Bible. Materials. They say when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Some of us complicate things. Some of us give teachers a difficult time. Teachers are prepared. They want the materials you're supposed to have are not there. In such a session, you're supposed to come with your notebook and write notes. These notes you can refer. During this group counseling session, you need the notebook to write your notes. It's what you are taught in English as part of listening. Number three, well-written notes. Well-written notes. Where are Form 1? I see Form 1's last bonds in the house. Form 1's. Imagine the notes you are writing in Form 1 will be required in Form 4. In the 2021 KCSE, they tested a question in CRE, a question on why do you study CRE in high school? That's a question that you are doing in Form 1. Serious? Yes. Well-written notes. Look at the way your friend is writing. Just crane your neck and see how your friend is writing. Some of us are writing in a way that we can ask them, if you're writing this way in Form 3, how are you writing in grade 3 or class 3? And how are your notes? How is your locker? Well-written notes. Well-written notes. The other thing that you need to do is cultivate a rich reading culture. Cultivate a rich reading culture. Rich reading culture. Cultivate a rich reading culture. Rich reading culture. Cultivate a rich reading culture. Now, reading has to happen. Are we together? The question is, what do we read? What do we read? We're supposed to read our notes. Are we together? Are we together? All of us. We're supposed to read the core course books. Do not rely on revision books that are not approved. What we need to read, we are supposed to read set texts. Where Form 3s and Form 4s? KCSE set texts. Form 3s and Form 4s, where are they? We are supposed to read class readers. Form 1s and Form 2s. Where are they? Form 1s and Form 2s? Class readers. Class readers. Class readers. We are supposed to read self-help books. Books that can change our lives. Like now, for me, I read these such books. I'm reading a book here called Good to Great by Jim Collins. Why am I reading this book? Apart from reading the Bible, reading academic work, I also need to read a book that can challenge me to become great instead of being good. A book that can challenge me to stop maybe becoming mediocre. Yani, being average or being on top of the bottom. You need a challenge, a book that will challenge you. You know, very important. But allow me to say, some of us read, but when they go to the exam, they cannot produce what they have read. Simply because they don't put skills into reading. Mungai, just help me with some gel pens. I want to show some 5 skills of reading here. 5 reading skills. 5 reading skills. Where's the school captain? Overall captain. Some gift of gel pens here for you. Who is in charge of peer counselors in the school? Ako wapi? Peer counselors. Mkubwa wa peer counselors. Ama jijui? Oh, Aya, deputy captain. Principal is talking about deputy captain. Where is he? The deputy school captain. Just give me more gel pens. Now, I want to show you 5 ways of reading that would bear fruits. Now, number one, we focus on what we call rereading or repetition. Rereading or repetition. Repetition. There's no way you can read something once and you want it to work for you. There's no way you can read history just once in a while and you want to pass in history. Are we together? You must reread. They say repetition is a mother of all memories. Number 2, textual annotation. Textual annotation. Then number 3 is textual marking. Textual annotation, textual marking. Number 4 is what we call note making. And number 5 is what we call use of reference material. Use of reference material. Let me juxtapose textual marking and textual annotation. Textual marking is the reason why I've given those guys these gel pens. Pens of 6 different colors. We have pink, we have purple, we have blue, we have red, we have green, we have black. Now, textual marking means as I read even my notes, I wrote my notes in the topics in red or the subtopics in red and the notes generally in blue. I can read my notes with a purple pen. I take note of key points, key areas. I underline keywords. You are reading A Doll's House by Henry Gibson, and Mwalimu is saying, now this gifts given to the boys. The sword, the trumpet, the suit, they stand for this. And even the doll given to Amy, the girl. This is what they stand for. They are symbolic of this. You can make that. Textual annotation means you make additional notes. That means, boys, we can't read notes like geography notes as if we are reading a thriller. Unapata mtu anasoma geography as if he's reading a thriller. That's why you sleep when you are reading. That's why you hear somebody saying funny things like, we were told by our teacher we are supposed to read things like history and geography in the morning when we are fresh. Then in the evening when we are tired, we have to do things like mathematics. You sleep when you are reading because you never engage in what you call active study. You must give yourself work. You must ensure that you are active in your study so that the study can bear fruits. Let me conclude that bit by saying, you also need to engage, you also need to build your concentration span as a habit. That is after building or cultivating a rich reading culture. You need to build your concentration span. How long can you concentrate? And lastly, you need to be a good steward of time. Time management. As a student, time management. There are only 3 time management strategies for a student. One is priority. Setting your priorities right. What Dr. Steve Covey in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People calls doing the first things first. Wewe ni mwanafunzi, bakia kuwa mwanafunzi. The problem is that some of us are students, but our priorities are wrong. Are we together? Are we together? Are we together? Priority. You are thinking about other things that are not important. Number 2, to manage time, you need an all-inclusive timetable. Timetable. Form 1s, where are they? Form 1s? Form 1s? How is high school? A bit challenging, isn't it? In primary, you are doing 6 subjects. Now at Acacia Crest, you are doing how many subjects? Yeah? There, the questions were multiple choices. You could even close your eyes and write D, and you get D. Because it was KCP, Kenya Certificate of Pencil Education. Now we are in high school. It is a serious thing. You need to be serious. That's why you need to have an all-inclusive timetable. Why do I call it all-inclusive? It must be balanced. It must be flexible. It must be accessible. Balanced means it's taking care of all the subjects. Accessibility means you can get it. Flexibility means you don't have to use the timetable used in Form 1, Term 1. You can change it to fit what required. And you must know, balance also means you must know how to, I know you have been taught, how do you arrange the subjects? There's no way you can be doing sciences at once. You can balance them and see how things go. And then the last bit there on time management is what we call having what to do list on daily basis. What to do list. What to do list. Life is not about gambling. There are schools where we have students who are gamblers. They are gambling with their lives. Unauliza mtu, what is your talent? Ajui. Which career do you want to pursue? He does not know. What do you want to achieve today? He has no idea. And he's a Form 4. He's a Form 3. He's gambling with his life. Yet life is approached from a deliberate and intentional point of view. You have to be deliberate and intentional. So, make a list of what you want to achieve every day. Are we together? Tell your friend, believe, behave, become. Allow me to stop there. Thank you very much for listening. I want us to use a few minutes. If there are questions you are going to ask, I can respond to the questions. Questions. Asking and answering questions is part of learning. So perhaps you want to seek clarification on what I've talked about, or something that you think can be of help to you as a student. Feel free to ask. Any question? Any question? Any question? Yes. Oh, which one is coming first between believe and behave to determine become? I think belief comes first. You believe, then you behave. But when I look at the heft, the weight of the two, I think behave plays a very important role. Somebody can strongly believe, I want to become a lawyer. I want to become an engineer. I want to become one of the top students in the country. But the problem is that he does not behave. He has refused to behave. So there is no way. I am a Christian. I'm a practicing Christian. Let's say I just pray and I say, God, I am very pious. I'm very prayerful. God, put bread on my table. Will it happen? It cannot happen. And that's why Brother James is very practical. He's saying, show me your faith and I'll show you my actions. Just as the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without action is dead. So those guys who are prayerful here and pious and they love God, you are a Jesus loving boy, that's good, but you must also work. You must learn to roll up your sleeves and work. Sinikweli? Yes. You know, some of the laziest people in this country are people who are professing faith. Some of them don't work. They're just praying. My friend, just pray and you refuse to read chemistry or you refuse to read CRE. You'll get a D for disaster and God will remain God. God does not change because his servant has scored a D for disaster or E for embarrassment or C for common. God will just be God. So believe, but also behave. Behave. Any other question? Any other question? Ama hapa wa muulizi maswali? Ama ninja? Ninja? Ama ni kuchoka? Good. Allow me to stop there. I said we have some write-ups on believe, behave, become, and even on finishing strong for candidates. So I'll share them so that they can print for you, they can photocopy for you, so that at least you can also go through at your own free time. At your own free time, I'll give them to the principal so that they can get. So allow me to give the microphone back. Asanteni sana.
Yes, I really want to thank our speaker because he has touched on 99.9% of what is making some of us not get that grade. He's talked about time. He's talked about the way you revise. So, wewe mwenyewe. Angalia, all these things that he has talked about, what is affecting you? What is affecting your grade? Is it your discipline? Is it the way you manage yourself? Is it the friends you keep? Or where are you missing the point? So I believe that is something that we can share for a whole week. A whole week. Talk about all those things that he has mentioned. And a student, a good student, is one who has taken those notes. He has talked about revision, and you make some notes as you are reading, all those things. My friend, ours is to give you information. What you do with it is now your business. Kuna watu watatoka hapa and they are going to work with those points. Kuna wengine watatoka hapa the same way they came in through that door. Kuna mtu hapa amekuwa usingizi. Half of the time he was sleeping. And he has talked about sleeping. Sleeping in class. Mwanaume unalala mchana saa 2, 6 you are sleeping. You expect a grade. It can't come. Ukweli ni ukweli. You cannot get that grade. If you are there and you are sleeping. I noticed 1 or 2. Wewe unangorota tu. Na hujali na huko. It is your life. Hii ni maisha yako, tunaongea juu yake. I want to conclude by saying, putting across something that he has said. All of us, I don't think there is any of us teachers who went through a school like this. Nobody. We never even had anybody to talk to about all these things that we are sharing with you. We never. It was waingia shule. The parents sometimes could not even afford to follow what you are doing. So yes, tembea. If you get a grade, fine. If you don't is sawa. We went to schools. Some, at least, his had a name. Some had no names. Hata ujui iko wapi. But we tulingangana. Here you are. All the facilities. Sometimes we go without a teacher a whole term. And when we get a teacher, you have not been taught for a whole term. Unajisomea a quarter of the book so that the teacher can finish. Natukangangana. And we still struggled. Here you are. Mwalimu 24 hours, usiku, Mr. Kamau, Mr. Wanjala, Mr. Everyone, tuko hapa. and facilities and everything. Please, my boys, so many years to come, and you look back, nilikuwa Acacia. What did I miss that I did not get this grade? What did I miss? Ni school fees, ni vitabu, ni walimu, ni speakers. What is it that you lacked? So many years to come. Don't ask yourself those questions if you don't do it now. Please do it. Do it. So I want to thank Victor so much. When I called him, he was in Kisumu, and we agreed he's going to come and talk to you, remind you about how you need to do things so that you can improve your grade. And he came. He was to come yesterday, but he was very far. So he found time to come today. Just to remind you, Banu, that it is necessary that you put your house in order. There are things that you are not doing. Do it. Sagala Kujaba. You give a vote of thanks so that we can allow the Form 1, 2, 3 to go back to class. Then we have a short one with the Form 4s.
I would like to begin with thanking the speaker for coming. You really helped me, especially with those tips of how to revise. And I'm sure it has touched someone who is sitting right there. And now we are rejuvenated. And, once again, thank you.
So let's appreciate our guests. Form 1, simama. Form 2, simama. Form 3, simama. We walk quietly to our classes. Na usiache blazer, usiwache kitabu hapo, usiwache anything. Let's walk back to our classes. Now, Form 4s, we are going to occupy the first